All right, welcome to Crypto News and Investigative Report. I'm glad that you're able to join us today. I'm not a financial advisor, so please do your own due diligence when investing in cryptocurrencies. Let's go through a few stories that is making news today. Actually, let's start with the market. Bitcoin is at $114 billion market cap. That's down. Ethereum is at $23 billion at the market cap. And the digital asset Ripple XRP is at $19 billion, which is down from a couple of days ago as well. The current price of the digital asset XRP is 48 cents. The Ethereum is at $225. And the Bitcoin is at $6,613. And so the total market cap is $218 billion. And so the market is fluctuating today. And the digital asset the digital asset XRP is at 48 cents. So it's moving down today. All right. Thank you for joining us. Let's go through some stories that is making news. Here. The top stories, PNC Bank. That's one of the top stories that we're watching. PNC Bank partners with Ripple. This announcement was made on 9/20/18. The stock price of the date of the announcement was $114.39. Today's market summary on the PNC Financial Group, the PNC Financial Service Group Incorporated, on the New York Stock Exchange, it was $138.52. And so what we see is a drop of about $6. What we're noticing is that the PNC Bank is fluctuating a little bit, trending towards its 52-week low. Hopefully, if we get time, we'll go and look at some of the charts on PNC. But what it's indicating to us is that it's a good indicator for measuring the performance of a commercial bank that partners, a commercial bank in the United States that partners with this RippleNet. They've partnered with RippleNet. They made that a couple of weeks ago. So now we're able to watch what kind of effects partnering with RippleNet and a commercial bank. We're able to watch that in real time by watching the indicators, the stock market indicators. And like I said, it dropped roughly about $6. The day that it made the announcement, I think the stock price was at like $143. On the 20th, 21st, it kind of shot up to $147. So your stockholders made some pretty good money that day. They made They made $3 to $3.50 per share that day. But since that day, it has dropped all the way down to $138.52. And that's according to the New York stock market at 11:27 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, after hours trading, of course. The question becomes, is this precedent setting? Is this what happens when a commercial bank in the United States signs up and work as a client, becomes a client to RippleNet? Is there an instantaneous hype to the price? It shoots sky high. Well, it goes up not sky high, but it shoots up $3 to $5. Everybody makes some money. 2 or 3 weeks later, it crashes back down to something like $138. Well, we can see we're going to be able to continue to follow this story and watch the price and see what kind of effect does RippleNet have with partnering with PNC Bank. Maybe it takes more like 6 months before it has a solid effect, and the company starts really making more money. That's the bottom line, right? And so we'll take a look at that. We'll continue to watch that story, and we'll look at some charts a little later. Let's go to the next bank. The next bank that we're watching is Siam Commercial Bank pioneers RippleNet's multi-op feature. They made that announcement on 09/28/18. Then they made that announcement on 09/28/18. The day of the announcement, the stock price was at $18.35. Currently, the price is at $17.85, and it is up 0.51%. So by making that announcement, I looked at the chart. It is trending towards a 52-week high, and it looks just like a mountain climb. It looks really good, And it looks like the Siam Commercial Bank, by announcing that it was using the multi-hop feature that is offered by Ripple, it looks like it had a direct effect on the price. And so we do see an increase in terms of we do see an increase in terms of what kind of effect that is having. It is trending, like I said, it is trending towards their 52-week high. And we'll dig down on that, but that's actually good news. And so two different banks. This bank is in Thailand. It does not have near the kind of money that PNC Bank has. PNC Bank has like $351 billion in assets, where this Siam Commercial Bank only has $97 billion in total assets. And so it's a much smaller bank. The bank it's a Thailand. It's a foreign bank, and it's the multi-hop feature has actually caused an incline in its price. Like I said, it's trending towards 52-week high, and it's starting to look pretty good. So that's actually good news for Siam Commercial Bank. And if it's precedent setting, good. And if it has, we see what kind of effect that it has on this bank, which is actually really pretty good. So these are two commercial banks in different countries, but one's substantially larger than the other, except with total assets. All right. Like I said, we get some time, we'll pull up the charts and take a look at it. The third thing we want to check out is it says check out the third story that's making news. It says check out Money Tap by SBI boosting XRP on xrapid website. All right. Check out Money Tap by SBI boosting XRP on xrapid website. The stock price on the date, the SBI on the date of an announcement, they've actually been with the Ripple.net for a while. They've announced 2 or 3 different things that they're using. In fact, they have a note here. Let's read the note. SBI Holdings is setting itself as a 100% Ripple-powered financial institution. Wow. From a cryptocurrency exchange powered by Ripple to the latest mobile applications called Money Tap to transfer money anytime, anywhere. So they're currently really doing really well because this announcement has actually had a direct impact on this the price of SBI's over-the-counter market price. It's been climbing. So we'll take a look at that chart too. But it is currently at $29.50, and it is climbing. So this is the third bank. So 2 out of the 3, the American U.S. bank, the commercial bank, PNC Bank, wasn't that much of a change. It hit real high when the announcement, and then it dropped back down. But the other 2 banks, the Thailand Bank, the Siam Commercial Bank, whatever the name of that bank is, it's actually had a direct linking with Ripple, has had a direct effect on it, and so has had for SBI Bank. But I'll make this short about excuse me, the SBI Bank. I thought actually it would be even greater. It would have an even greater impact because the SBI Bank has been working with Ripple a lot longer than the PNC Bank. Commercial bank. So I thought this price would be a lot higher. That's my personal opinion. I mean, I thought once that when they announced that they were going to Ripple, that the price was going to really shoot up. I thought we'd see a stock price well over $50 here, and we're only looking at a stock price of $29.50. And that's it's really up. I think their 52-week low was $14. So that is a substantial increase. However, I had a higher expectation for this SBI when, and what they were saying a few months ago, about 6-8 months ago, maybe not that long ago, but I really expected more from SBI at this point because they are 100% powered, Ripple powered, a financial institution. All right, so let's continue with the news. Okay. Crypto attitudes. This is interesting. Traditional banking institutions seem to reduce their animosity with crypto. Duh. This is making news. Any YouTuber could have wrote this one. All right. A growing number of banks have started to understand the power of digital assets and moving money across the borders in a fast, cheap, and transparent manner. Really? Really? These banks are finally starting to understand that they need to use some blockchain. The Corliss Technology CEO Rebecca Harding said that traditional banking institutions are turning to cryptocurrencies. This sounds certainly exciting considering the bank's long-time animosity with digital assets. You know what? Really, they don't really have much choice. I mean, if they're just finding out that they need to start using a digital asset and go to a blockchain, the light bulb just popped in their heads or something. All right. A lot of banks are, this is what she said. She said a lot of banks are healthy skepticism about Bitcoin and blockchain, said Harding. They see the need to invest in it to keep up with technological developments. Ding! But they're waiting to see where the regulators fall and are working closely with financial technology, which is fintech companies, to make sure they are not behind the curve. Look, behind the curve, if your bank, if you're in the banking sector right now, look, the most disruptive thing that blockchain has ever done, it has disrupted banking. And if banks don't understand that they need to migrate towards using blockchain, then there's no such thing as being behind the curve. It's called being left in the dust. Okay, so these banks, if they don't make the change into using blockchain, it's either you're on blockchain or you're not. It's either you're with them or you're not. And so there's left behind the curve. Come on. I thought that was pretty funny that they're starting to decide that they need to use blockchain. Maybe they might have a small legitimate argument regarding the regulators. I can understand that, but blockchain as a whole, nah. Banks, blockchain was built, to disrupt financial markets. So, and then she said she continued to say, there is a lot of money being poured into blockchain and cryptocurrencies. Harding added, banks are at risk of becoming nothing more than large fintech companies. She said people in this industry is telling her that. Yeah, if not, you're going to get left behind. And blockchain, commercial banking right now, if they don't move into blockchain, which they need blockchain for their data analytics, for moving money, for keeping up, they need it for a host of different reasons. And so if banks haven't realized that now, then they're not behind the curve. They're left in the dust. All right. So as we move forward, we have some central bank news. And once again, the links, I tweeted out these links, and all of this information should be on our Twitter. And I'll give that Twitter address again. And then let me say while I'm thinking about it, make sure that you subscribe to Crypto News and Investigative Reports. Please hit that subscription sign and subscribe to Crypto News and Investigative Reports, as well as hit that bell. And then if you hit that bell, it'll give you a notification every time that we're putting up a video, or hopefully that's happening. If that's not happening, please leave me some comments and let me know that you've subscribed, you've hit the bell, and you're not getting an alert. That way we can communicate that issue and we can get that fixed. All right. So here we go. We got some central bank news. The central bank news today is central banks. Now, and anybody that follows me knows that that's part of what we do here at Crypto News and Investigative Report. Central bank news. Central banks could be issuing their own blockchain-based fiat currency by 2023. Let me continue to read. The central banks are really having to, not only are commercial banks having some serious issues dealing with blockchain, so is the central banks. They're having some real issues about the blockchain simply because central banks do what? They print up their own money. Central banks don't have a money problem. They do have a technological problem, and they have to figure out how they're going to deal with it. So anyway, let's read. Let me do some reading. It says, even central banks are now keenly interested in the technology behind cryptocurrencies. According to a Federal Reserve executive, state-issued fiat currencies on a blockchain might become a reality in 5 years. Given the popularity of cryptocurrencies and the blockchains these days, it is not surprising for monetary authorities to show interest on both topics. Apparently, this interest is in blockchain technology in more than just skin deep, as central banks are already exploring the possibilities of applying the technology to their monetary supply. And then there's the link. Well, the problem here is that the central banks, they really don't have no choice. And they think that what's happening is that they don't have any choice, but they have they have a lot of time. Currently, digital assets are not a threat to the central bank because central banks print up their money. So cryptocurrency is not a threat to fiat currency right now. But the more and more emphasis, the more exposure, the more the public becomes educated in cryptocurrency and what it offers, the public is going to want that. And so the central banks are going to have to decide what in the world they're going to do. Now, I was listening at a couple of other YouTubers talk about the position that central banks are in. Some of them say that we don't need as many central banks as we have anymore because of the blockchain and because of digital assets. And that's the consequence to having blockchain is, not needing so many central banks. So central banks are really struggling right now. Commercial banks are struggling to survive regarding services to customers. Central banks are struggling because with a digital asset, and blockchain technology, they're losing control. And so the central bank's problem is losing control to technology, right? And commercial bank's problem is trying to stay relevant to the customer and trying to continue lend and deposits and that kind of a thing for commercial banking. So this technology, blockchain technology, is disrupting the movement of money all over the place. All right, let's continue on. The next news article article that's making news today, predicted coming financial crisis 2020. There is a survey, 72% of institutional investors believe cryptocurrency prices would rise in a recession. Did you catch that? Matta Greenspan, a senior market analyst at El Toro, explained regarding the creation of cryptos. However, this is what was said. However, I do see why investors think that. They think that crypto prices would rise in a recession. She says, I think I know why they say that. Bitcoin was built on the ashes of the financial crisis to provide an alternative to fiat money run by the government and banks. Very important statement here. A lot to read into this statement. And then what was said by Greenspan is that if there was a catalyst that would make people question the role of these institutions, then I can see them moving higher. And so there's a lot in that statement right there. And so allow me to drill down in that statement a little bit about that. The coming financial crisis is three things that are happening. The question in that, to me, in that particular story is, okay then, so do you use crypto as a hedge for this recession? Because you have a recession and then you can have a crisis after recession, because what happens with the financial crisis is that there's debt. There's so much debt. And what happens when you can't pay your debt, you have a financial crisis. So that looks like the U.S. is in a lot of debt, and you can have a financial crisis if the U.S. is not able to pay their debt. So what would we use as a hedge against a financial crisis or a financial recession? What would we use to hedge against that? Here's the question. Would we use gold or would we use cryptocurrency? Which one of those would we use? Okay, and number one, if the answer is cryptocurrency, then the number two is then what cryptocurrency would we use? Would we use the global cryptocurrency, Ripple XRP? Would you, would you use the digital asset XRP, or would you use Bitcoin, or would you use another one of these top 5 cryptocurrencies to hedge against a recession? All right. And then the third thing that I can read into this statement would be, if number 1 and number 2, the third thing was, nevertheless, we will get to see this in real time if the prediction of the recession holds crisis come to pass. So if we actually end up have a recession, then we'll actually get to see what cryptocurrency does in a recession. And I think that would be really interesting. So I don't have the answer to all of those questions. I would love to know what those analysts would say. If cryptocurrencies would rise in a recession, well, then which cryptocurrencies would you buy in the recession? Bitcoin, the digital asset XRP? You know, so it's a really interesting question, and it's a very good article. You might want to go back and read the article. Not only is it an article, there's also statistical information, and it was a survey that was done, and I think I have that. All right. With those being said, here I'd like to mention, follow us on Twitter. We're at Crypto News and Investigative Report at RobTech, ROBTECHP, RobTech P, Crypto News and Investigative Report at RobTech P. Let me share my Twitter page with you. Here it is. And I tweet most of these stories before I put them on this news channel. Here's another story. Did we get that? Yeah, we did. Check out Money Tap by SBI boosting. Oh, well, let me see if I can click. And if we can go here, let's see how fast we're moving. Not very fast at all. All right. You know what? Let me close with this. And I think next time I'll be able to go through some charts. I'll have them already up, and we'll be able to see the charts without having to wait for the system to kick up. So here's another client of Ripple, which is Mercury FX. Their site is pretty generic regarding their currency, their Mercury FX, their global currency, for them to be a global currency exchange. They have a very generic site, and it doesn't say hardly anything about their fees and their charges, except for this right here. Compare it and save money on your transfers. And it shows them Mercury FX, and it shows their euro, and it's 1.1380 is their cost, is their rate for sending 10,000. And then Barclays Bank and a couple other unknown banks. I have no idea what they are. But and I went through a list. I wanted to see a list of the top 10 global currency exchange specialists. And Mercury is not even in the top 10. Mercury is not even in the top 20. So, when you go to their About Us, who are we, what we do, how it works. And I clicked on a few of these, and it doesn't give you very much information at all. Then here is open up an account, and then they go here, market news, news briefs, and then they give you some regulation information, their affiliates, and their contact. And then I went to the number 5, or in some cases, the number 6 global money exchangers, the world's trusted currency authority. This is XE. And when you look at their site, it is concise, where the FX site looks elementary. It looks off-brand, elementary. The XE, the number 4, this site is pretty in-depth. It's pretty concise. It starts right out with the currency converter, at least, the US dollar to the euro. And as you scroll through it, it gives you all of the different currencies. It gives you up-to-date as their currency exchange rates move. It gives you the name of the currency. You can click on each of the currencies and it'll give you information. The Australian dollar, the Mexican pesos, the Canadian dollar, the euro, the US dollar. I mean, then you can go to the international money transfers. It has rates, it has costs, it has all of that information on the site. So what's your point? My point is, when I looked, I was trying to see what kind of effect does, since Mercury announced that they're using xRapid, I wanted to see if there is a price, what the prices are, and what, how by them being a client of and that's using xRapid. Let's see what they're doing. And their site's not really giving us hardly any information. I'll continue to drill down on this story and see what we can do. All right. This is Crypto News and Investigative Reports. I'm glad you had an opportunity to join us. Wherever you are, have a good day. If it's nighttime, wherever you are, have a good night. And like I said, thank you for joining us.